Hello, everyone, and welcome to our Hangout 2. Today, we're going to be discussing some tools that we think will be useful in your classroom. I'm Derek.
I'm Julianne.
I'm Rachel.
And I'm Allie.
And I'm going to go ahead and begin with a tool called QR Code today. It's a really neat tool. I think it's similar to a barcode that we see on things like food in the grocery store. You are able to scan this code and it takes you directly to links and maybe your email or an event you want to create. So I'm going to go ahead and begin with a little bit of a screen share to show you all what I'm talking about. Okay, so this website here is called QR Droid Zapper, and it's a QR code generator. So on this website, it allows you to choose from 9 available QR types, like a URL or a calendar event. I'll be showing you how to do both of those today. And it's usually used for advertising and marketing, but it can be used directly for the classroom. Now, with this tool, you do need to download a separate app, which I'll show you all how to do as well, that is able to scan the QR code. So let's say that I wanted to share my lunch menu with my students and their parents and or guardians. I simply can pull up the lunch menu. So here's the Wacomico County lunch menu for October. I can copy the URL and paste it straight into the URL tab there. And if I want to change the color, say I want to make it red, and then I simply just hit generate QR code. And you can also make them larger or smaller if you'd like. And now I'm going to take it off the screen share so I can show you all how to scan here. It's going to be a lot of back and forth. All right, so right here, I'll show you all. I have an app, and it's called QR Reader. So as you see, it has a scanner on it, and I'll go right to my web page, this QR code. And as you see here, it's loading it, but I scan the QR code and it pulls up the lunch menu directly on my phone. So it's pretty neat. And you can post that like anywhere in your classroom for the students to scan, or you can even send it home on a piece of paper for your parents. I'll go ahead and share the website with you all again. So say I also wanted to set up an event in my classroom, a calendar event. The QR codes are really neat for this as well. So say there was parent-teacher conferences, or you were having grandparents' day, or muffins with mom in your classroom. So say, example, we're having muffins with mom. The title, I can say when it is. So let's say it is in May. So let's say it's Friday, May 9th, and it's going to start at promptly 10 a.m. and it's going to end on May 9th at 12 p.m. So put our time zone in. All right, so location, let's say it's Fruitland Primary. And we'll go ahead and make it pink for our moms. So I'll go ahead and generate my QR code. So you see that here. So again, I'm going to take you off the screen share so you can see and use the app with this one. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and pull up the app again. So I have my app here again, and I'm going to go to the QR code. I'm gonna scan it, and it asks if it likes to access my calendar. I'm gonna allow it, and as soon as it loads, it'll allow me to create the calendar event for Muffins for Mom. So as you can see here in my events, I have the Muffins with Mom event, and then I'll even go to my calendar. You can see it right there. And it'll say I have the Muffins with Mom event. So that was just one of the neat things you can do. Another thing that I saw that was pretty neat with the QR codes that a lot of teachers are doing is with the students that they have iPads in the classrooms. They'll post a QR code on the Promethean board or a smart board, and they'll have the students go up to the board and physically scan the QR code, because a lot of times it's hard for students, type in that URL code and get it all correct. You're going to have half the class do it correctly, half the class, misspell a word or forget to put a dash in it, and that way they can just simply go up to the board, scan the QR code, they're on the website you want them to be on. And another thing that I saw was neat is like for follow-up activities. So say you give the students a handout, you put the QR code at the bottom, they take the iPads, scan that QR code, and it takes them to a video or an image you want them to write about. So that was just a really neat way so that you don't just have like a single thing on the board for them to look at. They all have it individually on their iPad, and it's a quick and easy way. And overall, I just thought that the QR code is a neat app because, again, the QR scanner for the iPhone is free, as well as the QR generator online on the QR Droid Zapper website. It's free, and it's just overall easy to use. And eventually, I was reading that textbooks are even going to have QR codes in them, so that the students can do like what I was discussing with the iPads and just go straight to the textbook page, scan the QR code, and it takes them to the textbook's website, and they'll have like interactive activities for them to do and so forth. So that was my tool. And we're code again.
So I will be showing you the next tool, and it is called Padlet. It's basically like a virtual piece of paper, and not only like the teacher can use it, but the students can use it, and you can write on it, and you can put images or videos on it. So I'm going to screen share with you to show you more about that. Okay, so what is Padlet? Padlet is a virtual tool where you can post information for your students, such as text, pictures, and videos. Padlet can be used on a computer, a tablet, or even a phone. Only the teacher needs to make a Padlet account. The students don't need to make one, which is convenient. So the students can just get onto the teacher's Padlet without making their own account. And here are some different ways to use Padlet in your classroom. So you could use it to make a book discussion board where students write and share their thoughts. And I'll show you an example of that. So I'm logged into mine, so this is me, I would be the teacher. And so I wrote, what was your favorite part of the book and why? And then a student can come on here and they'll just click right here. And then it won't come up with a name because they won't have an account. But then they can type their name here, and then they can write what their favorite part of the book was. So it's pretty easy to use. Okay, so next is a to-do board in a classroom. So with this, you have to do, in progress, and then finished. So for example, if they still have to do their math worksheet and then they start doing it, they're in progress, then you can move it over here. And then once they finish it, then you can move it to the finished section. Okay. And then the KWL chart is, first of all, KWL chart is what I know, what I want to know, and what I have learned. So the students can get on this and then So they can say what I know, and then like they can type that here. Or they could say like what I want to know, and then they could type like what they want to learn about right there. And next I'm going to show you how to set up your own Padlet. So the first thing you would need to do is obviously make an account on Padlet. So I'll just show you like the main screen of Padlet. So after you make an account, it'll take you to this page. And then to make a new one, you would go up here to the right-hand side and click on New Padlet. And then, so once you get here, you can like change the title to like whatever you're doing in class. And then if you want to put a description there, you can put one. And then there's also like different wallpapers you can use. And then you can also upload your own backgrounds. Like I uploaded the KWL chart myself. So it's pretty helpful. And then, so after you make this, down here at the bottom is the URL address. So this is what you'll like have the students use. So you'll send this to them so that they can get access to the Padlet. So here are some critical uses of tools in the classroom. And so Padlet can help the students with critical thinking, and it can help them with that because if they're answering questions on Padlet, it'll help them with critical thinking. And then next is reading skills, which can help if they're like reading what other people wrote on there, they're reading what they wrote. And they can also use their math skills if they're using Padlet for a math activity. And then they'll use their technology skills by learning how to use Padlet. And also they'll use their writing skills if they're writing on Padlet. So here are some insights that I had on Padlet. So in my placement that I have, they have like a to-do board on the whiteboard, and like it takes up a lot of time for the teacher to write that down, and then it takes up a whole bunch of space on the whiteboard. So instead of taking up all of that time to like handwrite it, she could just type it instead, and then she would have more room on the whiteboard. And then like if you bring up Padlet on a smart board or like an overhead, you can just like put up the Padlet whenever you need it and take it back down. That way it's not taking up space. And then an obstacle that you could come across with using Padlet is that if you use Padlet for homework, like if you send the kids a URL for homework and have them write down things for homework on the Padlet, they might not have a computer at home to use for Padlet, or the URL that you give the children for the Padlet may not work. And also the child or the parent may not be able to figure out how to use the tool. So that is pretty much it about Padlet.
Okay, so I'm going to talk a little bit about a tool. Let me just screen share with you guys. All right, can you guys see this? Okay. So I'm going to talk to you guys a little bit about a tool called TouchCast. So TouchCast is actually a form of mobile learning which involves the use of mobile technologies in the classroom. So tablets, smartphones, iPhones, iPads, things like that are becoming more and more popular in classrooms nowadays. So the move towards this whole integrating mobile technologies into our classroom is really an attempt to try to get children integrated into the technology-centered world that we live in today. A lot of times schools will provide the mobile devices like the iPads and tablets to their students, but sometimes they'll allow students to bring their own, or they'll do a hybrid of both where they can either use the school-provided tablets or use their own. And another important aspect of mobile learning is schools creating policies for acceptable mobile device use. So let's say students are allowed to use their own iPhones or iPads. It's important that they know they can't be texting on there, be like looking on their personal social media things. They need to be like solely for educational purposes when it's class time. So TouchCast is a website or app that allows you to create interactive videos. And interactive videos are videos that have manipulatives in them, and they help engage students and maintain their attention. So the interactive feature might be answering questions, like completing a quiz as they're watching the video, or watching other sub-videos about a topic as they move through, or listening to a teacher's voice as they explain a screen share, or exploring other websites, things like that. So TouchCast itself, it allows you to create videos on iPads and iPhones, and it's a free app and a free website that allows you to create them and share them with students or peers or anything like that. It's also great for professional development as well. So it allows you to create interactive videos accessible on iPads and iPhones and other mobile browsers, and you can still view the videos that you make on mobile devices. You can still view them on your laptop or your computer or anything like that. So TouchCast videos, just like interactive videos, allows you to hold students' attention better. So specifically, TouchCast allows students to do a bunch of different things. They can vote in polls that the teacher can then view and review feedback instantly in the classroom. They can scroll through news feeds and Twitter feeds all on the same screen as the video. They can watch sub videos. If they click on a sub video, they can watch it while the teacher is still talking. They can expand photos, explore websites, things like that. So I wanted to show you guys a little video of TouchCast so you guys get a better idea of what it is like.
These aren't just graphic. Try to imagine the future of video in the web. Not only what it will look like, but what it will feel like. What you're watching right now is not just a video, it is a TouchCast. A new medium that looks like TV, but feels like the web. I'll show you what I mean. Say you want to bring up an article from the web, like this recent Time cover story on the real cost of healthcare. With TouchCast, the article appears at first like a regular TV-style graphic, but with a touch, it launches into full browser mode. Or maybe you want to see what people are saying about healthcare on Twitter. Pull up a stream of tweets like this one and simply place it on the screen. Now touch the feed and see what happens. It updates in real time. Or pull up a video like this one and place it on the screen. Or grab an image or two. Now your TouchCast is a container for other media. It all lives inside the TouchCast. You can even draw directly on the video. With TouchCast, anything is possible.
All right, so hopefully you guys can see exactly what a TouchCast looks like from that. And it's really easy to create. You just log on and use their mobile app, and you can manipulate your videos right there on your own touchscreen. So these are my references, and that's about it.
Okay. I really like that. I feel like I could use that in my classroom as my kids really like videos. Okay, so the tool that I researched was called clickers, basically paper clickers, hence the name. So it kind of sounds complicated, but it's actually really simple. So I'm going to share my view. Okay, so clickers. Basically, it's a simple tool that lets teachers collect real-time formative assessment data, so it comes very quickly, and it's without the need of any student devices, so it's all the teacher using the devices. So the materials that are involve these clicker cards that you can see these children here are holding up. And they're kind of unique looking. I'll talk about them in a little bit. But then there's also the Plicker website app with the questions. So it'll have the quiz questions that you can put on the board. And then the mobile device or iPad that the teacher will have in their hands and use when they scan the cards. So to go into a little bit further detail, the Plicker cards, you can download them free from the Plicker app. And the teacher will have to have the Plicker account, of course, but that's also free, which is really nice. There's a typical set of cards. It comes with about 40 cards, sometimes more, sometimes less, and they're labeled from 1 to 40. And so then to a card. On the Plicker website, there's a name to each card. So on the website, the teacher can see that, but the students can't see exactly like which student has card number 3, which student has card number 5. Like, they won't know that. The student will know their card, but not the other student's cards. And so then the teacher will pass out the cards. And then also with these cards, it's best to print out in cardstock and laminate them so that they don't get ruined. And then as you can see down here, like, every card is unique, and they have a different way of representing A, B, C, and D, and true and false. So on one side of the block card, it will have A, on another side B, on another side C, on another side D. And then the students will hold up the card with their answer on the top. So the letter that's on the top, or the true and false, that should be their answer. So then once they hold up their answers, the teacher is actually going to use their iPhone, any mobile device that they have, iPad, Droid, doesn't matter. They'll hold it up, and then they'll be on the app. And when the kids are taking the quiz and it's projected on the board, the teacher will then scan the room. So she'll scan the room, and then it's nice because the camera can catch the cards from a distance. So they'll be reading all the answers as you go across the room, as you can see in the iPhone is scanning the cards. And then when the teacher actually scans the cards, the names of the students will pop up on the phone screen as the scanner catches each card. So that's pretty interesting too. And then the results will then be processed, so the teachers and students are able to see the results displayed in a graph. So that graph will be on the big screen on the board. Teacher's device, he or she can look at specifically which student answered what answer or what question. So that's really nice. Okay. And then for benefits of this, teachers are able to observe how the class is doing as a whole and which students need extra help. So they're able to see which students answered the question correctly as well, and then overall how they did on the quiz. And then the students themselves will be able to know right away exactly what answer they got wrong and what they'll need to work on for next time, for next quiz or whatever other assignments they'll have. And then it's also nice because the Plicker cards are different, so the students cannot cheat. And since the letters on each side of the block are really tiny, it's not like they can see, oh, like that student over there is holding up A. No, they won't even be able to look. And they should be looking straight ahead the whole time towards the teacher when they're taking the quiz. Then the students will also feel like it's more like a game rather than an assessment. So they want to put up their card as fast as they can, and it kind of makes a competitive atmosphere, but it's also still fun. And they won't be self-conscious about what answer they pick. And then also it saves money as it does not involve the students using any technology. So they're not using real clickers, they just have the paper, which is free, as I've said before. So the only thing, and then their own device, which could be an iPad or whatever they have. And also you can use this with any subject, so math, reading, writing, technology, art, anything, because it is multiple choice. So that's really nice. And I've noticed that it's similar to Kahoot, which I've actually seen in classrooms at my placement. Not directly in my classroom because I'm in kindergarten class, but in the other classrooms like 2nd and 3rd grade. So then the challenges of Plickr is that it's difficult for some young children. Well, it could be difficult for young children like pre-K and kindergarten to hold the cards the correct way. They may not really understand how to hold the card, or they may, when they're holding it up, they may like rotate it sometimes because, you know, kindergartners and preschoolers don't really have great attention spans, so they're kind of just moving it around. So that could be bad. There could also be technical difficulties with the scanner reading the cards. So if the scanner doesn't read the cards, they're not getting all the information of all the students' answers. And then it might be faster actually to use the real clickers in the classroom rather than these paper clickers, because when you use the real clickers, it goes straight to the board. You don't have to do any scanning process. But I still really like the idea. I think that I would probably use it in my classroom just because it saves money, and if they don't have enough money for every student to have a computer and iPad, then I would probably use Plickr. So those are my references. And that's basically it from me.
Thanks, Allie. That was a really neat application to use in the classroom. I really like that. I like how the aspects of the game rather than an assessment. Just think it's a fun way for like the students to assess. And thanks for tuning in, guys. That is it for our Hangout today. And we'll see you next time.